Here's a whipped cream. Yesterday was a really big day. I told you guys I have an eyelash. Yesterday was a big day because I told you guys the story about my dream last night in New York, or 2 nights ago. And how I have a fashion line from another timeline listening back to me, reaching back to me and being like, you're already successful. You already have like a flagship store and many branches. And I don't know what the problem is, Alyssa. Like, I don't think she's saying that, but she's saying like, you're already like really successful and you already have your own line. And remember, I looked into it and I was like, I think I'm married to Jeremy in that scenario because I'm in New York and I would have married Jeremy. And he's my boyfriend from probably like, I don't know, 2000 to 2005 or uh, something like that. Um, so when I dated Jeremy in New York is when 9/11 happened. And so I was here. I was in this house when 9/11 happened. So I was an hour outside of the city, but my life was pretty much in New York because I was dating Jeremy at the time. And we would go out and see like all of the missing New York was crazy then. It was like there was all these missing people, uh pictures, posters, papers plastered all over the city. Missing person, because it was all the people that died in 9/11. And people would just put missing person, because we're like, how did they just disappear? It was like, obviously it was like a shock to the system to have like people disappear overnight, in the buildings. And that's just what I remember, is just like everywhere you went, there was like missing persons posters, like all in the subway, like just all over walls when you would walk in New York. It was just like everywhere. And then there was like memorials for all these people, and people lighting candles, like candles and flowers all over the city. And um, I was always we call him Herman, okay? And so I was always out with Herman, and I would always stop and like light a candle with someone who was, I'm laughing, I'm sorry that I'm laughing, but I would always stop and light a candle with whoever was grieving and like pray with them or whatever, and turn around and I'd always see Herman like smiling at me, like, and I'd be like, okay, I gotta go. Um, and it was so calm in the city then. It was like so calm because of what had just happened. It was like this calm, like overwhelmed the city. Everyone was super kind and friendly. Um, because the tragedy like brought them together. And I think I told you guys how I was sucked into the towers one morning after 9/11, shortly after 9/11. And I saw the plane coming at the building, and I was sucked into the building, into a person's body who died in 9/11. And she died in the light. She was in the light watching the plane come in. So she was already in a space light bubble when the plane was coming into the building, and she saw it. Uh, and I received her death process back then. And that became Solara, the person that we call Solara. One of my higher selves that lives in the sun now. And she gives me codes, and she might be coming back to give me building codes and more codes that aren't being easily offered to me on Earth for no reason whatsoever. And so she's ready to perform another surgery on me and be my guide again and let me sort of live in the light. And I might resurface as Ellie, is what they're saying. You probably hear it, even if you want to deny it, that you hear the telepathy. We hear it, but Solara and the demons are both ready to give me new codes because the Earth is being so flabbergasted right now and telling me to stop and just basically telling me lies keep telling me lies literally every single day. Lies every single day. And Solara's like, I'll do it again. I will do it again, Alyssa. Like, they can't stand me being lied to, you know? So, Solara's ready. The demons are ready. But yeah, so that dream basically, my friends in Sedona were like, why don't you, go interview him and see what he has to say. So I interviewed him, and he was basically saying how he said some shocking things. Um, he said that he proposed to me multiple times, and that every time he would propose to me, that I would act like I didn't hear it. And I would just like play it off and like go do something else or whatever or something like that. I would just play it off like I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it. I want to say I never heard it. I never heard Herman propose to me. I never heard him propose to me. So those memories, and that's what he said. He's like, I guess those memories ended up on the cutting room floor because um they were cut from my memory. I don't remember him ever proposing to me. We talked about marriage and getting married all the time. Me and Jeremy, we talked about it all the time, getting married. And I would have said yes in an instant because we literally talked about getting married all the time. We talked about where we'd get married. Um, there was like this famous hotel, I forget. I want to say it's the Four Seasons, but I don't know if it was the Four Seasons or not. But there's this famous hotel in New York where, like, you know, like it's like the best wedding or whatever of New York. And he's like, yes, we'll have the fancy wedding in that hotel. And I can't remember if it's the Four Seasons or what it is now, but I think it's the one Sarah Jessica Parker got married in Sex and the City to Big. I mean, she wants to play Big and Carrie in the city, right? And it's like, I did? I don't know. I'm telling you guys the story. This was so long ago. It was 2001, it was 2001, 2002. Um, and he would always bring up marriage or whatever. And I would just be like, okay, like, like waiting for you to pop the question, waiting. Like, I would just be like, waiting. And he said that he remembers like proposing to me multiple times. And I would like act like I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it. So I don't know what happened. And I'm just like, what do you mean? That's so crazy. What do you mean? He proposed to me. What do you mean? Um, I would have never said no to Jeremy. Like, we were completely in love. We were completely in love. There would have been no reason for me to ever say no or to act like I didn't hear it or anything. I was waiting for him to pop the question. I was waiting. I thought he was joking because he kept talking about getting married to me and he would never pop the question. So I was like, I guess this guy's just joking with me. That's what I thought. I mean, So bizarre, so bizarre. And then, like, remember I told you the other night I had a dream with him, and he was like, "Are we getting married soon?" And I was like, "I hope so." And then I was like, "Is that one of the memories? Is that one of the memories that I don't remember?" And when during my awakening, 2018, 20, I think it was 2019, because I was on the road doing my sabbatical. 2019, doing my sabbatical, he bilocated. He bilocated into my hotel room that I was in, and he was like literally standing right in front of me. That's when like all the lights were on and everything. So it was like, sorry, it was like really easy to see people bilocating. Like I know Hayden's bilocating into my room, but like I'm not, like I just see like a shadowy figure. I just see like a light. But like when the lights are on, you can see the full body of the person. You can see the full person. And I saw Jeremy bilocate into my hotel room. And he's like, "I don't want you to worry about anything. I want to be your provider." And like back then, I was just like, "Okay, cool." Like I think he was married at the time or something. So I was like, he's like one of my best friends in the whole wide world. And so like when he said that to me, I was like, "Okay, cool. He's gonna like send me a guy. Like he's setting the intention to like be my provider and send me a man like him to marry me." And that was like, and he probably sent me Hayden, but that was like what I thought at the time. But now looking back, I'm like, was that also one of the memories from back then that he like said to me? And like, for some reason, I'm not there when he's saying this stuff to me. I mean, we did drink and we did party or whatever, but like we were sober a lot of the times too. And like, why wouldn't, I'm sure he had some of these conversations with me sober. He kept a little box under his bed. This is probably so embarrassing to him, but he kept a little box under his bed, and it was his Alyssa box, and it was like all of like my stuff, like if I left something at his apartment or whatever, and like pictures of us, like just little trinkets of like mine, and like pictures of us, and it was just like his box of Alyssa, and he would like keep it under the bed, like we were just in love with each other, like any other normal couple in their 20s would be, I guess. Um, and I'm just like, wow, what a crazy wasted life I've had. You know that I think we got married in the peninsula, to be honest with you, because that was our hotel. That's like where we fell in love. That's like where we had a lot of our dates, and so I think we would probably have gotten married in the peninsula in New York. And um Sebastian stands like, why would you talk about exactly the right location? Like, I think it's okay, but I mean, so anyway, I basically had a panic attack about that. I'm like, and then he said that he has memories of us getting married and like living our life together, and I'm like, what the fuck? Why is my life such a stolen life? You know, why is it such a stolen life? And I definitely would have married him. Why is my life such a stolen life? And I'm like, where are those memories that I married Jeremy and that we had a happy life in New York? Where are those memories? But yeah, I had like a panic attack about it yesterday because I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean I had a happy life with Jeremy? What do you mean I'm married to Jeremy and I'm sitting here in New Jersey in my parents' house? I mean, is it the same thing as Colin Farrell? I don't know. Is it that on this timeline and it's just like a completely cut scene? I don't know. But like, Jeremy, like I dated on this timeline. I dated him in New York. I have memories of dating him. I don't have everything cut. Like with Colin, I don't have one memory of me actually being with him in this lifetime on this timeline. So Jeremy, I knew personally. He's I think he's in my phone right now. You know what I mean? Like this is a person that I know. Oh, oh my god. I'm like I want those memories back. So yeah, I'm having anxiety and panic attacks about it cuz I'm just like why am I sitting here if I got married at 21 or 22 or 23? Why am I sitting here? That's not the life that I remembered in this timeline. I remember him always having a panic attack about marrying me. That's what I remember. I remember him calling me and freaking out and being like, I don't know if I can marry you again. Not again. I don't know if I can marry you, you know, like freaking out about his life or whatever. And I'm like, okay, it's okay. Just calm down, like we'll figure it out. It's like he had this Norwhal Tusk. Um, his uncle uh, owned the shop that he owns now. Rest in peace, Uncle Ralph. And we loved Uncle Ralph's house. And he had like a brownstone in New York. I think it was like 3 floors or something, and maybe 4 floors if you count the basement. I think. And he had this. He was a hunter. It was very dang. I can't remember my favorite writer. Um, my favorite writer's name is. He has a house in Florida. Um, Not something wicked this way comes. Oh my god, not Jack Kerouac's on the road. Those are all some of my favorites. Um, oh my goodness, I can't believe I can't remember my favorite author. Hemingway? Yes, Ernest Hemingway. Okay, so he's like so Uncle Ralph was like a hunter, like Ernest Hemingway. Ernest Hemingway wrote a bunch of like hunting books and stuff like that. The Old Man and the Sea, um, like safaris and hunting. And if I'm wrong, then I switch timelines. But Ernest Miller Hemingway, and he's like a big drinker. Anyway, Ralph was a big hunter, like that. And the whole first floor was like covered in his kill. Um, you know, Gazelles and bears and maybe a lion and all sorts of things that he killed on safaris and stuff and hunted and killed. and he had a Norwhal tusk. He had a Norwhal tusk, and it was like really. You guys like know a Norwhal whale? It's like a really big um, tusk, like a unicorn's tusk, and it was really tall. And he had a banister that went around the second floor that looked down to the first floor, and the Norwal tusk was sort of um, here's the banister, here's the Norwal tusk, and then here would be like the couches and everything. And he had a party one time. I moved to California by this point, and he had a party, and he called me in the morning after the party. And he's like, Alyssa, I don't know if I can marry you. And I was like, why? What happened? He's like, I think I'm getting written out of the will. And I'm like, oh my God, what happened? And he's like, we had a party last night and my jeans, we would jump off the banister. I don't think I ever did it, but maybe I did. We would jump off the banister on the second floor into the couches on the first floor. Really safety conscious. Obviously, don't try this at home. Um, please don't try this at home. But his jeans hooked onto the Norwal tusk during a party one time, and it shattered into a million pieces. And he called me and he was like, I broke the Norwal tusk. And I was like, what? Anyway, that's just a good old memory that we have. But um, yeah, I don't ever remember him proposing to me. And if he proposed to me and we got married, as if I really want those memories back. Um, how crazy is that? So yes, I'm having like anxiety and panic attack about that. Jeremy's the celestial, and our conversation last night um, included the world, and it pissed him off so much that he went up like immediately. Like we both started getting panic attacks immediately after talking, and he went up to get his celestial ship, and I saw it. I saw his celestial ship, and I saw him on a ship, and it sort of looks like the Red Room right now. Um, and I also saw that it also freaked out Colin Farrell a lot because he's like, oh my God, she got married and she doesn't even remember it, you know? And he was saying like that he has memories of like me showing up the next day and I have no ring on. And he's like, what happened to the ring? Did you pawn the ring? And I'm like, what the fuck? You know, what? Like, what are these crazy ass memories? Why the fuck would I pawn my ring to my best friend ever? You know, um, they had remote control blinds in their house. I don't know. They want me to talk about the remote control blinds. Um, but yeah, I want those memories back because I'm like, what the hell? I don't remember marrying Jeremy ever. I have an idea of where we got married, and I have an idea of I guess I'm having dreams of our life together, but on my timeline, where does that fit in? You know, um, Yeah. He has the coolest car ever, is what Ryan said. He had a, we don't really have cars in New York, first of all, but he had like his family's cars. And I think we had like I think Ralph had a convertible that we would use on the weekends. I think Ralph had a convertible that we would use on the weekends. And then his grandmom had like a Mercedes or a BM. I think it was a Mercedes. I don't think they were into BMWs. I think they were only into Mercedes. Like it was like, and she only had tape decks. Um, she never moved on from tape decks, and so we would have to like put the tape in to put the CD player to connect the CD player because like grandma only listened to tapes. Um, and I remember meeting his grandmom like one, you know, we had to go to brunch or whatever, and he's like, "Come on, like you're gonna go meet the family," and I think I like, we are drinking or eating, and I got a stain on my shirt right when I'm meeting Oma, and I'm just like, oh my god. Of course, I get like a stain on my shirt right when I'm meeting like his family. Um, and I remember, I don't know why I'm saying this stuff, but and I remember going over his grandmom's house, and uh, they had like really nice wallpaper that was like velvet. And I remember like touching the wallpaper and because it was like velvet, and I'm like, what the fuck? Wallpaper's velvet? That's so cool. Um, yeah.